Hey, welcome back folks. Hope everything is fine. Hope you had a good weekend. Man, oh man, BTC looked so ready for a weekend pump, at least on Friday. We didn't get it. We're now getting a little bit of sideways slash downwards price action. How do we go, or where do we go from here? That and more in today's update. If you like the content, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share the video with your friends if you think that's useful. Let's get into this price action for today and the trading plans. As I said, Friday it looked like we were primed to get a breakout. This was the top from Wednesday, and then eventually we went higher. We also closed a couple 1 hour candles above. And I thought, okay, now we are starting the squeeze to the upside, and for the next couple hours it will just go very slowly higher, with eventually a huge squeeze then probably on Sunday, and it's hard for people to get in. That didn't happen because after New York close, eventually the price went slightly lower, kind of made this huge rounding bottom over the weekend just to take out the high once again. Right away at Monday, very early in the session. So I think it's safe to say that this S&P trade did not work out. And then to go lower, this level, by the way, where we rejected from, was a negative point of control. And then eventually Monday we had a little bit of a move to the downside. Also here, this tiny bounce to the upside is again a negative point of control. And then when I was asleep, we finally went lower. That was our first long trading setup that I gave you last week. That is this trading setup, and the idea, is that we are going to take out the lows underneath this, and we also hit a big SR level, support and resistance level. And what is then that SR level? That is from this significant high, or this significant top from this area right here. That is 66,500. Like I said, we got it overnight. I think almost no one was able to get into that trade. And yeah, now again it looks like we are coming lower. So this trade is still very much valid. So if we would get an S&P kind of from yesterday's low they made, or this morning low, depending on which time zone you're in, we're doing something like this. This is still very much a valid trade. I made the stop loss a little bit bigger because I would also really like to take a trade from this low right here. So if we eventually do something like this, where we not taking a long from this, so let's say price action does this, we cannot reclaim it. So longing this is then a no-go. You're waiting, and then eventually you get into your trade. So that is then your long trigger. So therefore, depending on how price action is going to develop in the next 24 hours, this is then your long situation, or this, or what I just said, a quick dip and then higher. Both of them are fine, but since it is relatively close to each other, I'm keeping just the stop loss a little bit bigger, and I will only enter depending on the price action that I see. I would absolutely not set a limit order. So this long, the first one is then starting off from 66,500, and this one is then starting off from 66k. So only $500 difference. Other than that, we still have the two bigger long trades, and that is a long from the golden pocket. I also updated the FIB retracements already. So that is then now starting off from approximately 64,700 to, depending on where the low is, will be approximately 64,300, 200-ish, depending on where the low is. The nice thing about this trade is that you are taking out the low here. And before this, so before I changed the FIB retracement, the golden pocket was much lower. But now it could really be a smaller dip inside, and then eventually go higher. So then you're just taking liquidity here and then to go higher. That would be very nice. And then after that, that's already quite a big of a retracement in a bull market, is a long from the approximately 63 to, let's say, 62,500, and that is a very big SR level that I already marked here, and that has been support and resistance a lot of times, and as long as being respected, I am keeping it on the chart. So therefore I am keeping that long in, and that then coincides then, like I said, with that big support and resistance level. But to be honest with you, I actually don't think that we're going to see that in the next couple of days. There is one short that I would actually like to add to the mix, that is very locally, and that is, let's say we are going higher first. So we are not taking one of these two long trades that I just gave you. We are going higher first, and then we're taking out yesterday's high. So there's this high right here at approximately 67,880 or 67,900, depending on which exchange you're probably taking, into these lows. Those are the weekend lows. So you're taking out yesterday's highs, support and resistance, or supply and demand, however you want to call it. It doesn't really matter. Wherever price turns, this whole block, so these lows, this high, taking out, take liquidity, and then to go lower. Why am I saying only if we go up first? Because lower we have such significant levels that I think that if we go lower first and we're taking the liquidity or we're taking one of the long trades, that this is not going to hold. This might give you 0.5%, 1%, but that's pretty much it. So you could try to scalp it, but I'm probably not going to do it. I would just then chill in my long trade, and actually then I expect a continuation to the upside. But would we do this suddenly and then very slowly taking the liquidity, then eventually go lower, I will take that short, and of course that short is then a scalp. I do not see that as a swing trade. It's not a significant level. It is not a do or die moment. It is just a liquidity grab, a tap into supply and demand, support and resistance, however you kids call it these days. It is just a single tap, and then I will take it as a scalp. Of course, the stop loss then goes above the local high, and then I'm playing it to at least the first long trade. So that could be approximately 2%. If you feel like that is too little for me, or I have no time to stay in front of the charts, or it's just too much of a small time frame, whatever, then just skip this one. This is, like I said, a bit more for the day traders or intraday, but this could be a nice scalp, at least for today. That's pretty much it. Other than that, I'm not really looking for a long from this S&P level because above us we have quite the liquidity. One last thing that I want to go over with you, and that is market Cipher B. Because that has been, to be honest with you, all over the place. This is now on the weekly. Before I'm showing you the market Cipher B, this, by the way, is a point of control. Before I forget it, this one has shifted. It's now at 67. Used to be at 65. Now it's at 67, and that's of course because we spent in the last couple of days we spent time, of course, in the last couple of days at and around that price level. So the point of control shifted to 67,000. Okay, market Cipher B then. Like I said, it's a little bit all over the place. Let's start off with the weekly. This is still very strong. If I wouldn't know which time frame this is, I would say we're going higher. This still looks very, very good. So we could have a red week or a bit of a mild week, but eventually still continue price action. So weekly still looks very good. Today, a little iffy. We have money flow going up, but then the momentum wave, it looks like it might want to roll over. RSI is still pretty strong. VWAP going higher, but like I said, money flow is higher. Then the daily, we have confirmed a red dot yesterday, and we're also seeing that most of the other indicators are pointing down, so it looks like that we're getting some more downwards price action. However, money flow is still, compared to other periods of time, relatively thick in the green, so I wouldn't be surprised if it does eventually something like this. So if we get a bounce for one of the significant levels, then of course I will trade it, and I'll see every long now as a more of a swing trade opportunity. So yes, probably some more downwards price action, but don't get all too bearish. Then let's look at the 8 hour. That one is also a bit weird or off. I mean, we have the VWAP high, the momentum wave down, but the money flow is flat and the RSIs are melted together. Yeah, I have no idea, because that is bullish, bearish and neutral at the same time. Then we have the 4 hour, kind of the same story. This VWAP looks pretty jagged, kind of inward curve. It might want to roll over. This needs some time to curve. Money flow looks like it wants to roll inward curve as well to go higher, and the RSIs are split from each other. That means they're losing strength. So also here it's kind of all over the place. Then let's quickly look at the 1 hour. We might set ourselves up for a very nice bullish divergence if price goes lower one more time, and then yeah, we have the momentum waves in our favor. Money flow is already for a while at and around that zero line, doesn't tell me anything. VWAP is higher and the RSIs are melted together, but they are underneath this zero line. So for underleaf, sorry, the 60 line, so usually that signals then a little bit oversold, although we actually barely came down. So yeah, like I said, markets have been kind of all over the place, not only the time frames compared to each other, but also within one time frames. Not all the signals of the indicator are telling a very clear story. So yes, I was very bullish on Friday because everything looked like this was going to pump to infinity, but now 3 days later it looks relatively a bit milder and, like I said, a bit ambiguous. So I'm just waiting for my levels. If I see what I like to see on smaller time frames, 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, then I will take the trade. If not, then not, and I do not expect the world from it. If everything starts to turn a little bit again in the next 12 to 24 hours, then I will change my bias to a more powerful bull or bear side. For now, I'm staying relatively neutral. Don't get too scared from this price action. We have barely moved to the downside, just a couple percent. Look at that, 2.5. It's not even that a whole lot. So just play it level by level, trade by trade. If I take a trade, as always, I will update you on Twitter, so make sure that you check that out. And of course, I want to thank you guys for tuning in again. Make sure that you like, and of course then also subscribe and click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss the future notifications. And see you guys very soon again in the next one. Bye bye.